You know, guys, I honestly cannot wait for us as a country to get over this chapter of Cyril Ramaphosa. This has been a very painful chapter for a lot of South Africans. We, as the people of this country, have lost a lot under Cyril Ramaphosa. And if Cyril Ramaphosa was an honorable man, he would go on television and actually announce that he is going to resign because as a president, he has failed. He has failed the people of this country. And I don't know if the guy cares or what. I don't know if he's aware of it. But many people are disappointed in Cyril Ramaphosa. We are disappointed in the presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa. Do you remember when Ramaphosa became the president of the country? Many people were so optimistic. People were so optimistic about their future. But today, the same people that were happy about Ramaphosa becoming the president of this country, they cannot wait for the guy to step down. They cannot wait for Ramaphosa to resign as the president of this country. This is how much people are so disappointed in President Ramaphosa. He came in, and one of the promises that he has made is that we are going to deal with these arrogant and corrupt politicians. And that thing actually made a lot of people love him, because under Jacob Zuma, the politicians, the ANC comrades, were so arrogant, they were so dismissive of the problems that were facing average South Africans. They didn't care about the issues that were facing average South Africans, and they would make it known to the average South Africans that we don't care about your problems. You remember the likes of Nomvula Mkwenyane saying that if the rand collapses, we are going to pick it up. These are some of the things that the comrades under Jacob Zuma would actually say. And when Ramaphosa became the president of the country and said that we are going to deal with these people that have been hating this country for the longest time, people were so happy about Ramaphosa. But 6 years into his presidency, there is not a single comrade that is behind bars. There is not a single comrade that is behind bars. He promised to deal with the people that were implicated in the state capture. He promised to deal with the people that were implicated live on television during those state capture inquiries. But till today, there is not a single comrade that is running the courts. There is not a single comrade that is behind bars under Cyril Ramaphosa. If anything, this presidency of Ramaphosa has actually proven to a lot of people that Ramaphosa is nothing but an ANC guy. He is nothing but an ANC guy. But the ANC were smart to sell Ramaphosa to the people of this country, because they said, now we have a businessman, a man who actually has a lot of businesses. This is how he's going to govern this country. He's going to govern this country like a business. So people were actually happy, saying that finally we got a businessman for a president. We don't have a comrade for a president, but we have a businessman. Things are going to be better. This guy is going to be able to convince the investors to come into the country. He will be dealing with the corrupt comrades. So the investors would not have a problem investing in South Africa, knowing that the president of the country is busy dealing with the criminals. Everything turned out to be the opposite. Everything turned out to be the opposite. People lost jobs under Ramaphosa. I don't even know how many companies closed under Cyril Ramaphosa. Next year, they are talking about 30,000 people will lose their jobs. The 30,000 people that are working for the government are going to lose their jobs. So all of these things are happening under Cyril Ramaphosa. And you look at other social issues that we are dealing with as the average South Africans. You look at crime. Crime has actually gotten worse under Cyril Ramaphosa. You look at the borders and the people coming into the country has actually gotten worse under Cyril Ramaphosa. The infrastructure of this country has literally collapsed under Cyril Ramaphosa. Nothing has actually gotten better under Cyril Ramaphosa. Even the business that the ANC said that this guy is a businessman, he's a mastermind, everything turned out to be the opposite. That's why I'm saying I honestly cannot wait for us as a country to get over this chapter of Cyril Ramaphosa. They lied to us. They lied to us. They promised us that Cyril Ramaphosa is the best thing since sliced bread. They promised us that the ANC were able to lie to the people of this country, selling Ramaphosa to the people of this country, only for Ramaphosa to turn out to be just an ANC comrade. He has been a huge disappointment to the people of this country. That's why earlier in the video I said that if Ramaphosa had the integrity, if Ramaphosa had the cojones, he would actually stand on stage and actually say that the people of this country, I resign because I have failed as the president of the country. But it looks like sorry guys, it looks like these are not the plans of Cyril Ramaphosa, because now he's talking about the national dialogue. The ANC now wants to have the national dialogue with the people of this country. And this thing is making people furious, because how do you expect the average South Africans who have been complaining to the ANC for the longest of times to now sit down with the comrades who didn't care about the issues that were facing them? How do you expect average South Africans to sit there and listen, and still listen, to the comrades that were dismissive of the issues that were facing them? Because this is basically what's going to happen with this national dialogue. They are going to go on stage, they are going to run their mouth, and they are going to give people so little chance to actually say anything. Have you seen the ANC presidential imbeciles? Have you seen the Ramaphosa imbeciles? They are horrible. They are horrible. And you read the reports and you find out that the same imbeciles cost millions and millions of rands. But when Ramaphosa gets there, he will speak, his delegates will speak, but people will be given something like 2 minutes to ask questions, and they would allow 10,000 people to ask questions, and Ramaphosa would go there and answer 2 questions. So, looking at the presidential imbeciles, how is the national dialogue going to be different from the presidential imbeciles? How is it going to be different? How? How is it going to be different? And do the people of this country actually need a national dialogue? This is one of the questions that I'm thinking about. Do the people of this country need a national dialogue? The people of this country, they have just spoken with their votes a couple of months ago. They have rejected the ANC. They have rejected the ANC. They have actually made it known to the ANC that we are rejecting you. We are sick and tired of you. We are sick and tired of your corruption. And we are sick and tired of your incompetence. But no, in next year, Cyril Ramaphosa says that he's planning to appoint a committee that is going to steer the national dialogue. Do the people of this country need a national dialogue? Do they need a national dialogue after screaming to the ANC for the past 30 years? They were screaming and shouting to the ANC, crying and begging the ANC to listen to their pleas. They didn't listen to the pleas of the people. So what actually makes these people think that they can turn around and say, okay, now we can listen to your pleas? This thing, it seeks and it reeks of what's that word? It reeks of narcissism from the ANC. This whole thing, it reeks of narcissism.
On this day, we reaffirm our commitment to forge a new future for our country. And indeed, this new future, as I look around, is being forged in more ways than one. I would say this is the first time that we collectively, from different communities, from different political parties, we attend Reconciliation Day together. In the past, it used to be maybe 1 or 2 political parties that attend. Today, as I look around, the PA supporters, I see DA supporters, I see ANC supporters, I see PAC supporters.
I mean, Ramaphosa is talking about different political parties. I'm sitting here and wondering, how is this national dialogue going to be conducted? Is the ANC going to invite other political parties that are in the GNU with? And if these political parties that are in the GNU with the ANC agree to go on this national dialogue with the ANC, are the same people going to tell us to now trust the ANC? Let's say the DA goes to the national dialogue with the ANC. Is the DA going to go to their voters, to their base, to say that, let's listen to the ANC? Is this what other political parties are going to do? Because if this is the plan of Cyril Ramaphosa to actually drag all these political parties that are in the GNU with the ANC to steer this national dialogue with the ANC, this is going to be the death of these political parties. It is going to be the death of these political parties, because the national dialogue will be about the ANC. The national dialogue will be the ANC begging the people of this country to give them another chance. And if these political parties are going to be the same political parties are going to be doing the bidding for the ANC, that's why I'm saying it is going to be the death of many political parties if these parties that are in the GNU decides to get into this national dialogue with the ANC. So the political parties that are in the GNU, they must say, no, we are not going to go into the national dialogue with you. We are not going to do that. We are not going to do that. Because we cannot go to the people of this country and tell the people of this country to trust the ANC. We still want to kill the ANC. We still want to kill the ANC. And I'm sorry, but this is how politics is like. Just like with the DA, you cannot expect the DA to suddenly come out to speak on behalf of the ANC. You cannot expect the DA to do the bidding of the ANC. The DA still wants the ANC to do bad so that they can do good. So these other political parties that are in the GNU, they must be very careful. But you look at people like Gayton McKenzie. I think Gayton McKenzie, when it comes to issue like this, he has already been compromised, because I think he's going to be one of the poster boys for this national dialogue, which is going to be a terrible mistake if this is how it's going to pan out.
I see all various parties united here, including their leaders who used to fight to the death. Today, Gayton McKenzie can stand on the same platform with other leaders from other parties. And you know, he used to be very, very ungentlemanly and very aggressive. Kyk net vandag. Kyk net vandag, hy is so baie ordentlik. So this is the miracle that continues in our country, and today we are celebrating Reconciliation Day in a new way. This is the new way of doing things in South Africa. And we would like this to continue. We would like to see the people of South Africa united in everything that they do. All of them putting their views forward together. And this is where we reaffirm our commitment to work together through a national dialogue to define the path our nation will take as we move forward. I did speak.
And guys, let me ask you a question. Do you think if the ANC had won the elections with a majority, they would still push for the national dialogue? Do you think if the ANC had won the elections with a clear majority, these people would be calling for the national dialogue? This is my question to you. Because I honestly don't believe that the ANC would have called for the national dialogue if they had won the elections with a majority. I don't think this is what they would have done. I believe that the ANC would still be an arrogant ANC that doesn't care about the problems of the people of this country. it will still be an arrogant ANC that uses its majority in parliament to protect Ramaphosa from his crimes. It will still be an arrogant ANC that is filled with arrogant ministers, that is filled with arrogant members. I don't think the ANC would be calling for the national dialogue if they had won the elections with a majority. That's why I'm saying this whole thing, it reeks of narcissism, because now suddenly South Africans must listen to what these people are going to say, or now South Africans must participate in this national dialogue program of theirs, when the same people have been shouting to the ANC, begging the ANC to listen to them. I don't think they would have done the same. I don't.
Speak out and said, yes, we support the holding of a national dialogue. Now, through our various actions, we are reigniting our collective vision and shared passion to create a South Africa that works for all its people. We are confronting our challenges with the courage and determination displayed during the darkest day of the struggle against apartheid.
Of course, always throwing apartheid there, always sprinkling apartheid there.
South Africa has a rich history of inclusive solutions to problems. Today, I announce that we will hold a national dialogue next year to enable a conversation among citizens on shaping our country's future developmental plan. The national dialogue will seek to build on the achievement of 30 years of democracy. This national dialogue will give us an opportunity to address the challenges we've been facing for the past 15 years of low growth and unemployment, of poverty and hunger, of poor governance, slow land reform, and corruption.
I mean, I honestly believe that there is no need for this national dialogue. There is no need for the national dialogue. Because Ramaphosa, as the president of the country, he knows exactly what he needs to do if he wants things to work out properly. The ANC, they know very well what they need to do if they want things to work out properly for the people of this country. It's just that there is not a political will, maybe to fight crime. There is not a political will to look into the education system and reform this rubbish education system. There is not a political will to deal with corruption. There is not a political will to throw corrupt comrades behind bars. So why should people, what's the point? What's the point? The people have already told them what they need to do. They themselves, they know what to do. I mean, like, even if you could stop an average person in the street and say that, what do you think needs to be done for this country to become better? An average person on the street can tell you that. Let's say if I were the president of the country, I would make sure that the corrupt comrades are not in government. If I was the president of the country, I would make sure that the ANC delegates competent mayors to the people of this country. If I was an ANC president, I would actually make sure that the mayors and the councillors of the ANC are competent people who actually know what the hell they are doing. But all of these things under Cyril Ramaphosa are completely opposite. The mayors are incompetent. The councillors are nowhere to be found. The people in different locations throughout these countries, they don't even know who their councillors are. They don't know who their mayors are. The mayors are incompetent. The mayors are incompetent. You look nationally, the national leadership, the people that are there are corrupt people. Ramaphosa is working with the people that have been pointed and exposed in the state capture. He's working with the same people that were named and shamed live on television. So if Ramaphosa is comfortable working with the people that were exposed in state capture, what actually makes him think that now he can come to the people of this country and say that, guys, can you please lend us an ear? Or guys, can we please sit down and have conversations about what is happening in the country? Just look right now with the issue of the Bella Bill. Majority of the parents in this country, they don't know what the Bella Bill is. Many people in this country, they don't know what the Bella Bill is. Many teachers in this country, they don't know what the Bella Bill is or how the Bella Bill is going to affect the children. But Ramaphosa never did the national dialogue to tell the parents, to say that, guys, we are going to reform your children's education, and this is how we are going to reform your children's education. They never took out that time and go to the parents and go to the townships, go to the people to say that, guys, this is how things are going to change. So how do you expect the same people that are signing things into law, same things that average South Africans do not understand, to now have conversations with the same average South Africans? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. They didn't make time for the Bella Bill. They are just ramming it through. They don't care if the parents of this country understand. They don't care if average people understand what the Bella Bill is. They don't care about all of that. They are just pushing through the Bella Bill without any care in the world. Sorry guys, my kids are giving me tough time. My kids are giving me tough time. But it is bizarre, man. It is bizarre. It is bizarre. It is bizarre. I remember when they started announcing this whole thing of the Bella Bill, I came to the platform and I said, guys, why are these people not why is the president of the country not delegating teams to go throughout the country and teaching the people what the Bella Bill is? Because if you are going to do something that is going to impact the children of young people, the children, you have to go to the parents and make the parents understand what the Bella Bill is, and actually give the parents a chance to tell you what they think about the same Bella Bill. But they don't care about that. They don't care about that. Just like with the NHI. Just like with the NHI, they are not going to the people. They are not steering a national dialogue when it comes to the NHI, to tell the people that, guys, we know that we have failed to take care of the public hospitals, but now we are promising you private hospitals. They are not doing that. They are just ramming things through. They are just ramming things through. And for some reason, they expect the average people to listen to them. I don't know how these people actually operate. It's hard for me to actually understand how these people operate.
We will also want the national dialogue to address pressing challenges such as gender-based violence and femicide, social fragmentation, racism, xenophobia, sexism, and violence and instability. We will want the national dialogue to strengthen and consolidate the process of social compacting, where we come together as different sectors and communities to find common solutions like we have always found in the past. It is therefore envisaged that the national dialogue will be informed by an extensive public consultation process in local areas organized by various sectors of society. Since the announcement I made on the national dialogue during my inauguration in June of this year, we have received many representations from civil society, including foundations that were established by the stalwarts of our struggle for freedom. Further consultation is currently underway with other formations within society to form the content of the national dialogue. In due course, I will appoint an advisory panel of eminent persons to provide guidance and advice through the national dialogue process. The advisory panel will include men and women of stature who have played prominent roles in nation building as well as in advancing social cohesion. I will also appoint National Dialogue Steering Committee members to coordinate the National Dialogue process. Now, this steering committee will include representation from the foundations that have played a leading role in championing the idea of the national dialogue process. It will include government people, people from labor, business, and the community constituency. All the necessary structures.
I mean, there's no need, man, to spend all that money to do something that, to listen to the people when they have told you what you need to do. You told us what needs to happen when you became the president of the country. So you just failed to implement what you were talking about. And now you are talking about the national dialogue. You are now standing there as the president of the country pretending like, okay, let me listen to the people of this country, when you know what actually needs to be done. You know for a fact what needs to be done. We know, everybody knows what needs to be done. Me, guys, personally, I don't want to lie. I am completely against this whole idea of the national dialogue. The ANC failed to listen to these people for the past 30 years. The only thing that we can do for ourselves as the people of this country is to get rid of the ANC. You remember when Florida Shivambu said that we need to surgically remove the ANC from all levels of power. This is what we need to do as the people of this country. We need to make sure that the ANC doesn't get any votes in 2029. This is what we need to do as the people of this country. This is the goal that we should have as the people of this country, that no more ANC. We don't want to hear about the next president of the ANC. I am not interested to hear about the next president of the ANC who has actually a chance of becoming the next president of this country. The people of this country must just ensure that the ANC does not come to power in 2029. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. They have done a lot of damage. And I don't think that what they have damaged, they can actually repair. They cannot repair what they have done. It's too late. It's too late. There is nothing that the ANC can do about the problems that the ANC has caused for the people of this country. There is nothing. It is too late. It is too late. It is too late. We just need to start dealing with them in 2026. And after dealing with them in 2026 and go into 2029, to say that no more. No more. This should be our slogan as the people of this country. No more. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. There is no way the likes of Ramaphosa can fix what is happening in the country. They are failing to fix the ANC. They are failing to deal with the ANC. The ANC is failing to deal with itself. This is what Thabo Mbeki was speaking about, that the ANC is failing to renew itself. And by failing to renew itself, the ANC is going to die. So we cannot go out and rescue the ANC. We must let the ANC die. The people of this country, we cannot allow the ANC to still have a bit of breath. We must allow the ANC to die. We must not give the ANC the CPU. Let's allow the ANC to die. Let's let it die. Let Ramaphosa be the last president of the ANC. Let's be this should be our closing chapter as the people of this country. Man, I wish this platform was as big as Joe Rogan, man. I wish many people could actually listen to this platform. And we could say that, guys, it is enough. Let's just dissociate ourselves from the African National Congress. They have had 30 years. They have had 30 years. And after 30 years of destroying this country, after 30 years of being arrogant towards the people of this country, they have lost the elections, and now they are saying that we want to have conversations with the people of this country. We must not allow that to happen. Let's not allow that to happen. We must not allow that to happen. We must not. We must start campaigning. As the people of this country, we must start campaigning as soon as possible for 2029. We should start campaigning. We are not going to rely on these pathetic opposition parties to actually deal with the ANC. The pathetic opposition parties, they have failed to deal with the ANC. Now, the matter is in our own hands. As the people of this country, we must gather as many people as possible to make sure that we get rid of the ANC. The pathetic opposition parties, they have failed to deal with the ANC. They have failed. They have failed. They have failed. I don't want to hear anything about the national dialogue. I don't want to hear anything about Ramaphosa, about the delegates that he's going to send throughout this country. I don't want to hear anything about that. And if these political parties that are in the GNU are going to go on this national dialogue with the ANC, we must also make sure that those political parties are punished. Those political parties, they also need to be punished. They cannot go out and do the bidding for the ANC. The political parties that are in the GNU, they must make sure that the ANC dies. If one political party decides to go on the national dialogue with the ANC, we must ensure that political party doesn't see beyond 2029. I am ready. I don't know how ready you people are.
And processes of the dialogue will be in place early in the new year so that preparations can commence in earnest, because we would all want this national dialogue to happen. We expect that the national dialogue will reach agreement on the critical issues that are facing our nation. It is expected to develop a shared vision of what it means to be a South African and of a common value system that will guide current and future generations. Now, with a renewed commitment to social justice, economic empowerment, and cultural understanding, our country can continue the work of building on the achievements that we have already made. We can fulfill our destiny to be a truly reconciled, equal, caring, and united nation. Many of you know that next year South Africa will become the first African country to lead the influential group of the world's largest economies, the G20. Now, we as South Africans have outlined an ambitious agenda for our G20 presidency. Now, it is our presidency as South Africans, all of us as a nation, now become the president of the G20.
Now, tell me how average South Africans are going to benefit from that. Tell me how average South Africans are going to benefit from that. How are average South Africans going to benefit from us hosting the G20? How? 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 Man, I wish that this country had better voters, man. I wish this country had better voters. I wish we were patriotic as the people of this country, man. You know, as South Africans, if we were patriotic, half of the problems that we are dealing with today, they would have been solved. They would have been solved.
We become very important people in the world. The whole world will be looking at us. The small country that we are, they will be looking at us as South Africa. We only have 60 million people living here. Now we have the opportunity to lead the many countries that make up the G20 to lead countries such as India with 1.4 billion people, China with 1.3 billion people, the United States of America with more than 350 million people, and many others, and the entire continent, which has 1.3 billion people. So we, tiny South Africa, have now been given the opportunity to lead all these countries, and they will all be coming here to South Africa. So you are presidents of the world. You are presidents of the G20.
Stop patronizing us, man. Stop patronizing us. We are not the presidents of anything. You are the president of the country. We are not presidents of anything. Ramaphosa must not patronize us by trying to make us feel included in the things that they do themselves as the government. No, do not patronize us. But guys, we must stay on message. We must stay on message. We must start campaigning as average people. You know, for the longest time, we have depended on these pathetic and incompetent opposition parties to deal with the ANC, and this has been one of the biggest mistakes that we have made as the people of this country. But we must say no more. We must say no more. Many people must actually stand up and get into these platforms. Many people must start organizing, because the opposition parties have failed, but we cannot fail. This is our country. We need our country back. This is our country, and we need our country back. So, guys, do you think that we need a national dialogue? Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.